Hello, hello. As promised, there's a second replay, and this is actually gonna be the third time I see it, since I recorded this one before, and then noticed I was muted through the whole thing, so I'm gonna do it again, a bit less enthusiastically, probably. I had this replay for a while, and I was waiting for permissions from the players to cast it, so this wasn't sent to me directly by the players. And of course, I had to watch it already, since if I get my grabby hands on Wood Elf replays, I watch them. So yeah, we have Wood Elves here and Beastmen on the hosting player, and we have a Beastman opening line of 3 Centigores with a throwing axes, grabbing the points early. Most of their stuff is Vanguard, so they're getting to the points rather quickly and grabbing them. Zangors, a use of the mark. I like them and Wood Elves, of course, since they have silver shields and the magic damage, which makes them really good again, and also a high charge bonus, which makes them good against war dancers if they don't, maybe not directly confrontate them, but charge into them in a bound unit. And they're also doing well against dryads, though I still find this trait okay for the dryads, even though their physical resistance is not working against them. Did I miss something? We have the Butchers of Kalkengard, the only thing besides Malagor here that doesn't have Vanguard, but they want to stay back anyway because they don't like being shot by stealth archers or anything at all, even though they have silver shields, but they're the most expensive unit here. No play with Vanguard for this point. You could have probably just sent a Centigore in there from those 3. You don't need 3 to capture this point, and just have 1 here and see if you get this for free. If not, you just run into the mid. We have Malagor here, and this scenery here will be. I just uploaded the highlight clip of this. You can watch it. There's some very funny interactions with shooting, and all the things are already starting, and I'm still explaining the armies. Malagor with Flock of Doom. Wood Elf side is easy to explain. We have 4 Glade Guards, for 5 Eternal Guards, a Life Caster with, well, life passive spamming, and a Split Awakening of the Wood. Good spells against Beastman, light armor. Yeah, the Glade Guards are 1 Starfire to probably upset some healing, I would say. I'm not sure. And a lot of Glade Guards. If you don't go into armor, Starfires are actually a downgrade because they do less damage overall than the other ones. Malagor dodging the overcast explosion. I really thought this was fixed, but apparently not. He definitely didn't take damage from that. This damage is from 1 arrow that actually hit him. The Sisters of Twilight. I will be ranting about them a bit through this game, because I don't think they are a good unit in this situation, or maybe at all currently, aside of some very specific setups. They have 3 use cases, I would say. Killing lords or sniping lords, sniping single entity artillery before the game starts, or in them when they are not, if the other side doesn't have good air defense, and killing monstrous infantry in this. Though there are some monstrous infantry here, so if they shoot onto them, that's good. Though if they are in the air and shooting, you're not using the dragon currently. So it's And the Dragon Breath is also there. It's just too many tools put into one, and you can only use one function of it at once, except if they are sitting in the unit directly. If they are sitting in the monster's infantry unit, they can still shoot since the archers are separate entities from the dragon. And then they will also target correctly. If they are melee, you can't give shooting orders, so they shoot at the unit if your fired will active that is closest, which is obviously the one that they are engaged in combat with. If I scroll too much in, it gets loud. Okay, the Beastmen now start their advance and diving onto the wood of archers, and I don't. I'm not sure if that's a mistake on the Beastman side since I got impatient, but let's just take a moment to appreciate through how many lines of spears those archers get kited through, and here's even more. And also those Butchers of Kalkengard here. They force pathing through spears and spears and spears. One time through the whole wood of line from left to right, basically, they get kited through spears while being chased by a dragon. This is a really great defense of your archers. Some will die, yes, but the diving forces will definitely die. And yeah, I would probably say that it was a rather impatient engagement from the Beastmen. Though, if they had left the archers any longer, you see all this damage on them. That's once from Awakening of the Wood, but also from the counterfire of the archers, and they would have killed them. So Beastmen kinda had to make decisions at this point here. The Butchers of Kalkengard, a very strong and really annoying unit due to their missile defense, chosen levels of melee defense, missile defense, not shielded, it's not missile resistance. But yeah, really hard to deal with those guys, and they got kited through so many spears and chased by the dragon, and that they died with just being paid for a third of their value. They will heal up a bit more, yes, but yeah. Even more Zentigos coming in, but the first batch is already dealt with, so the Water of Tools are free to switch over to deal with them. It's this difference in charge damage here. This is so both charged frontally into each other, and the Glade Riders get completely massacred. It's only 150 gold difference in here. Here, they nicely got shot down a lot. Nice Dragon Breath into the Destroyers of Dragworld. A unit that's actually worth throwing a Dragon Breath on, but there's just so many Centigores, and there's more and more and more, and they all get killed here, but all of them doing some impact damage, and yeah. Though the Wood Elves are still holding the midpoint due to the units that they should be on the point or doing something. Due to the capture rate of those expandable units here being reduced, and as such the Dryads and the Turner Guards can counterweight it. At this point, I probably would have made an attempt with the Beastman to go for this point. Overall, the Beastman point control through the whole game, I've seen it now, so I can make the judgment, isn't very strong. You can really use the point to put pressure on your opponent and force them to make bad decisions or engage in bad trading to get them back. And as such, if you get points, the situations to grab points or such routed units, I would have just used them, put them in a corner here, and the Wood Elf side is forced to react to it. Or they build up this capture progress on it really slowly, but at some point they will take it. Or if you then later on decide to, now it's the time to take the point, they have already done some of the work. This is so funny. These arrows are so heat-seeking. Woodow's finally kind of managed to defend or clear out all the scraps from the backsides here. This is kind of weird interaction, not using the war dancers on them, but trying to force them onto the point. Little slip in micro. Here, the Beastmen finally decide to take this point, though. I'm not sure if I like this choice here to leave those 2 scraps that might actually lose against the Wild Riders and use them away if they now quickly return and charge into them. Or Zentigos are just so strong that they win anyway. Anyway, this point gets taken by the Beastmen, finally, I would say. Because I haven't grabbed the mid yet, and the Widows are actually leading in points right now. Yeah, actually the Zentigos just win. Amazing. Both sides were really scrappy, and the Zentigos got another charge to activate the charge bonus, so it's not that unsurprising, and those guys are also a really expensive unit in the same class as the Wild Riders, but they are... yeah, actually the magic attacks really helps here too. Against the 20% missile resistance of the Wild Riders. Missile resistance. Physical resistance also works on missiles. Okay, here, I don't know if you just give it for free to the Dryad. What I would done in this situation is to, again, grab this unit and put it into the corner. And if the Dryad comes after you, you run away and you occupy a 500 gold unit with maybe 100 gold worth left of this. If they decide to leave at one point, you're straight starting to capture the point again. Okay, we had some, this time I didn't catch it, I seen it last time, so I'm quickly comment on this. Those guys should not be here. Those guys should not be going in there. There were some really reckless charges that I didn't catch this time, sadly. I was commenting on the video where I was muted. Beastmen have no control over this point, and they have archers that they can kite with. And with the units here, they also not so soon gonna get control over this point. It's just not really a big contest right now. So, and it was even a bit worse before. When they first started charging those Sons of Garrus, they're really expensive, and they did not a lot. They were recklessly charged in here, and that's kind of throwing away value. If you're not contesting the point, like it's okay to retreat from it. You have missiles here. You're right now the faction that's kiting. And you can just do that. You don't have to engage all your units all the time if time plays in your favor. You could have just sent them over here to hold this point longer. The Sons of Garrus here would be an amazing number against those Dryads, especially with another one combined to get a 2-sided charge. They would probably delete them straight away. The other option is to use them to defend your archers while they're doing work, and they're currently doing amazing work. They've all paid for themselves, even way more, and they still have sizable amount of ammunition left. So There's no reason right now to dive into spears. Okay, end at the round. So combat-wise, I would, due to this devastating losses here, throwing them into a dragon even, I would say Wood Elves are almost a bit in favor. Those guys here heavily overextended. They were chasing something over here, and they're now paying the price for it. They aren't really capable to defend. That was my Discord ping. To defend against charges, even especially into their back from this guys. Really expensive shock cavalry. Though we're now seeing a turn here. Even though there was so much value lost, I did mute Discord, sorry. The fight is happening somewhere here, which is super close to the Beastman spawn, and Wood Elves should not be here, frankly. They need to fight on their advantage. When the fight was going here, they slowly crept up a lot in value and managed to, well, then take back. And as soon as they moved over here, they lost. Simply because the reinforcements points are so much in favor then for the Beastman side, and they can make really good use of that, especially since on average they are faster anyway.
One of their units has been destroyed.
Though the Beastman can kite, should kite, and make use of that and play more on this side, and could have prevented the capture of this point, or at least until the Wild Riders make an appearance there. Okay, we're now having the sister situation here. I've commented a lot on this in the other video. Their healing is now going off, and they are routed. Of course they are routed, because this healing only starts when they are dropping below 20% HP. And usually, if they drop below that, they are in a process of dropping quickly even further. So you sometimes can actually kill them before this goes off, but usually they're at least routed. The mechanic is a really interesting one, I would say. It's a healing that needs action from both sides. You need to defend the sisters from the Wood Elf side, and you have an incentive from the other side to finish them off, or at least put them into a routing state before this heal procs. There's just one problem though, and the problem here is that Wood Elves have nothing to defend against flying here right now. And this is where the Beastmen are making a mistake, because this Malagor here has an attack order on the Sisters of Twilight. That means he's gonna land. A unit cannot rally if there is enemy presence in maybe, I don't know what that is, such a radius, 35, 40, 50, somewhat around this. If there's some enemy presence in this radius, they cannot rally. Even if this enemy presence is just in the skies and idling around there, or slowly following them. So if you won't be killing this guy, I admit it was kinda close, those guys, sisters. I admit it was kinda close. Still 800 HP is not a unsizable amount. It's like 2 volleys from the Centaur still, and that's not gonna happen in the 15 seconds or something. That was time here. And also Malagor is not gonna do it. So they will get their heal off, and now Malagor is landed. And if he is landed, he can be trapped. And if he's trapped, he can't follow the sisters, and so they can get back. And as soon as their healing goes off, their leadership stabilized even before. And as soon as their healing goes off and they leave the presence range of it, they rally. if you had just have Malagor hovering above in the skies and following the dragon to the corner of the map, he would have been out of the battle. And that is actually what usually happens. If there's no fast units left from the Wolf side, you even can use just some scrappy cavalry, or if it's worth it, even a healthy cavalry, and getting them off the field. This dragon is mostly really worth it. It's right now the most dangerous thing here. And the Wood Elves trying to save the dragon from the things made some really bad trades over here. Trying to screen out the archers and the throwing axes and completely throwing away this super expensive unit here into a bad engagement. Just trying to save the sisters. And honestly, this is my every Sisters of Twilight experience ever. Sometimes they really do well because the other side really isn't prepared for them, but usually I just see them
You have the foe's victory point.
getting low routing and needing to be saved. And I rather just take Blade Lord with a Regrowth caster in the back. They're really taking damage again from the Centigoth's throwing axes, their values creeping up, and they're about to proc the next Conjoined Destiny. And we have the whole play again, and the Wood Elves again need to try to scrap and save them, and thus exposing their backs to Centigoths. So there's so many Centigoths and not enough Wood Elves here, that would have happened anyway. Those trades here were really bad for the Wood Elf side. Before that, they were army-wise in an even, or maybe even winning position, and they were on a points lead. This fight here kind of broke them. The Beastmen could have really exploited that by kiting them over, because they were the only ones with archers on the field, and could have made really use of that, but they kind of didn't and threw in the Centigoths pointlessly. I always keep saying that, but I didn't catch those real moments, so it's a bit unfair right now. I should have paid more attention, but I was occupied with some other strategies over here. But yeah, right now the Wood Elves aren't in a good position. This dragon is kind of beyond saving. It will actually rally again because Malagor again lets himself get trapped. You could have really dealt this by just not landing. But it's healing capped right now, and the funny thing is, it gets this Conjoined Destiny still, which then heals nothing. And since it's below 20%, it starts right again and again, and it does nothing but sparkle fancily. You even got Malagor trapped here. That's kind of scary. If the dragon landed on him right now, that would have been actually good. But missed opportunity here. If Malagor got killed there, and the dragon charge can... nah, not 1500, not 1500. Maybe he could have routed him, and he's fast off the map, and this could have maybe been a swing that is needed for the Wood Elves, because Beastmen are so occupied on this side right now, while actually not holding the point, that they're losing mid to Dryads. Dryads will trade up into all Beastmen infantry, except maybe Goreheads. I still think they trade up into them. Their stats aren't good, and they have some... Well, the stats are comparable, but Wood Elves have good defensive stats on top, with some armor and physical resistance. And those spearmen here will be utterly demolished by Dryads, and also have low capture rate, so Wood Elves actually takes his point back. the dragon here. Oh, those poor wild riders. Those poor wild riders. Yeah. A pure Centaur versus Wood Elf mobility battle is not something that Wood Elves can take. It just doesn't work. The dragon here will route now for the last time and be shattered. Do I see Malagor? Did he actually die? No. He got unsummoned, probably. Or I'm blind, I'm not seeing him. Though, yeah. No reason to keep him. He didn't have any leadership auras abilities, except the basic Loud one, I guess. And he was out of winds. And if he's then low, he's more of a danger to yourself. Beastmen now back on a double cap situation and by now leading on points. The Conjoined Destiny. It keeps going and going and going and going. And also this is another mistake. Trying to take this routing unit in melee. If you have a missile cavalry unit, you just pull them out and throw at them. You're doing way more damage this way. There were some other situations earlier where you could make use of this. Yeah, you bind them, but if you keep the move order going to just walk aside them, they can't rally and getting shot while doing so. Okay, this replay cast actually went differently than the first one, which is kind of curious. So not from what was happening, but the things I focused on and I kept telling, and yeah, I'm not. I think the first one was actually better, but I'm not going to do a third version of it. It was interesting, but not that interesting. Yeah, Sisters, 2700 value. It's okay, yes, but with all the healing and you actually needed several actions to save them. And lost a lot of value there, especially those wild riders went on a really unfortunate trip trying to zone out the Angor raiders from killing the dragon, and you kind of need to subtract this value that you lost in support from that, and I don't think they did good with that. They are very expensive. I can actually quickly take a look how expensive. I think they actually cost more than that, and their missile attack isn't super good if you're not attacking large, and you might actually use the Glade Lord bow with similar effect at this point. And yeah, I would have gone with, if you want to go with a dragon, I would have gone with a Glade Lord or Glade Lady. Both have useful abilities, one with a Helmet of Discord and two useful melee attack auras that can help trading into Centaurs, and the Glade Lady can obviously use the root to save your archers, or if you're doing a charge duel, root the Centaurs, and without their charge they're actually not that strong, so you can really trade up in these situations with them. Yeah. And then just take a regrowth caster or something to simulate the Conjoined Destinies in actually a better way, with just spending some wins on it. Those archers all did really good. Some got shut down earlier, but some survived really long time. And yeah, the Centaurs got kited through lines of spears, and that was really good. The opening was really good play from the Wood Elves, and a bit impatient from the Beastmen, but though the archers forced the Beastmen to act quickly, and that's their point. Malagor did one heck of a value. it's hard to keep track of Flock of Doom, and it's hard to prevent yourself from blobbing up against Flock of Doom if you're in an archer play position, because usually you get some situations where your archers get charged or are about to be charged, and then you have 1-2 peeling tools, and that's a blob of 3 units. And the peeling tools can actually be fairly expensive, and this is a prime situation where you want to throw in Flock of Dooms. So that's really good. I still like Morgor more from the Beastman side here. He's tanky enough to make the dragons trying to attack him not worthwhile, at least early on. And the 2 Chaos Spawn summons are really good. Though I also don't like the Beastman non-Lord caster versions, since those chariots are really vulnerable. Actually, those chariots would have been a prime target for the Sisters of Twilight, so I can completely understand Malagor, and with this value, you can't really complain. He costs 1200, I would say, with this loadout, and made twice it back with just magic. It's great. Yeah, values on those are all a bit problematic. Those guys only because I don't know how often they got summoned. They got only summoned once, but for all the others, I don't know. They get summoned at least twice. Well, exactly twice, I should say. More than 3 on an infantry unit is unlikely if they don't get quickly removed because they crumble away and are not shattered, but just gone. Those guys only lived once, and they did great. They kind of thrived on not getting shot by the Wood Elf side because the Beastmen were diving recklessly into them. Otherwise, the shootout wouldn't have been good for them. But besides that, Wood Elves really don't have the resources to go diving into their Beastman ranks because they're diving towards and get just massacred by Centigors. Yeah. They did really good, though. Again, probably they got summoned twice both. If not, that is insane, but I don't believe it. Yes. Any more to say? Sad value, double summon. Actually, okayish value for the situations we're in, but summon so often, I don't know. Okay, and that's about it, and I quickly have a look at their price, because I think it's above 3k. What else? Sisters of Twilight, Honor Dragon. Oh no, it's actually not, so 2.6. So they just paid for themselves and had some things that sacrificed for trying to save them, so not a good trade. I'm not a fan of them. I tried them a lot. Well, not a lot, but whenever I tried them, I ended up in similar situations, so that seems very common. And yeah, I don't use them anymore, really. Except if I have some... I know that there will be some really good targets for them. Like, maybe into Ogres, there definitely is monstrous infantry there. You like the terror, but also Dragon gets super easily trapped there, so you need to be also super careful. Maybe without a dragon actually into Ogres. Could have been something. Anyway, I've said what I wanted to say for the second time, and I doubt I will make this mistake of muting myself again. I say no, and see you when I do it next time. Bye bye.